The Ottawa Senators are back and ready for their first off-season, despite the fact that the mood has been dampened a little bit by the fact that, San Jose made the playoffs and we lost the lottery. But we will be looking to make the best of it. That said, I used the intro episode in the last episode, as I always do, to give you an opportunity to let me know your opinion as far as what you think of this series and what changes you think we could make here at the start that could make this series even more interesting. And there are a couple of things I wanted to address in the aftermath of that episode before we really get things going here with this series. Now, first and foremost, when it comes to the rules, again, I didn't want this to be a full-on like LA style series where a lot of people are just like, there are too many rules. It's going to be a bit of an in-between. We are going to have some rules, of course, and we get to that in a moment. But first and foremost, what I wanted to talk about is why owner mode is not on. And simply put, it's because I don't like it, and I don't think it's fun. Now I get it. It's a series about not spending money and having a penny-pinching owner, and it makes all the sense in the world to have owner mode on and to have a limitation of what I can spend on staff and coaching, etc. I'll say this. You can have a super team. You can essentially use Team Canada in franchise mode, but if you have a meh coaching staff, you're not going to do well. The influence that a strong coaching staff happens to have on a team is gigantic when it comes to how the sim plays out, and that's been the case really since the game launched. I remember I had a super team on a Twitch series, but we had like a C overall Phil Kessel as our head coach. That was that one tweet of mine that actually gained a little bit of traction, which is, go figure, the most popular tweet I've ever had is Phil Kessel in a suit. But the point being, we couldn't get over the hump and actually win because the coaching staff was so meh. And it's just, I understand the point of, have owner mode on. But at the end of the day, I'd have auto owner mode on because I personally don't care about adjusting the price of hot dogs with the way owner mode works right now. Like if it was MVP Baseball 2005, like where, hey, the money you earn is actually put in towards upgrades that you can visibly see, then that's cool. But for the way owner mode works right now, it's just a bit too tacked on for my liking, and thus I'm not a big fan. So I get the point as to why people wanted that on, and I get the understanding of wanting some limitations with the coaching staff or the scouting staff, but I'll tell you this right now, we're never going to find success in this series unless I'm allowed to have a half-decent to good coaching staff. That's just the way it is. At the end of the day, if you made me choose between, coaching staff or scouting staff, I'm picking coaching staff. That's the only way we'd have success. I'd rather cut a deal with you and say, let me have my coaching staff. We just won't have any scouts, if it meant that much. So that's the reason why owner mode's not on. That's the reason why I haven't talked about any limitations with the coaching or with the scouting departments. And like I said, if there was the real desire for there to be some limitation on that, I just won't scout. I'll fire all our scouts, but I'm still going to have a good coaching staff because that is pretty much the only way that we're going to find success. If I were to keep this coaching staff the way it is for the duration of the series, we could have a great team. I don't think we'd ever win anything. It's just the way this game works. That said, as far as the actual rules in this series are concerned, I do think there were some good suggestions kind of going alongside what we talked about in the last episode. Now, in terms of how far above the cap floor I can spend, there was the idea of 5, 10, or 15 million. There was a lot of support for 5 and 10. And I got to be honest, we're going to start off this series on hard mode. We're going to start off by saying I can only spend 5 million over the cap floor. Say we win a Stanley Cup and we keep going, we can up that to 10 as a bit of a reward. But 5 million over the cap floor is what we're looking at. Now, we don't know exactly, of course, I don't remember the numbers from the last episode, but right now, we're going to figure out after this draft, once we get to the re-sign phase, where Thomas Chabot's new deal kicks in, what the cap floor is, what I'm going to be able to spend to, and what that max contract is going to be, because as was pointed out in the comments, we're going to have it be a percentage, not just a solid 8 million, because the cap is going to continue to go up. So, for example here, what it's going to be is, in real life, say that, Thomas Chabot's new deal kicked in now, what is 8 million? What percentage of that is, say, $65 million for the cap floor? It'd be about 12 to 13%. And that's the most that we can spend on a player, is 12 to 13% of our cap. So there's going to be a little bit of math in there. That's not anything too crazy. But at the end of the day, what you need to know, we can't spend that much over the cap floor. We can't spend that much on an individual player. If they want to leave, like if Anthony Duclair said, no, I don't want to resign, he's gone, and players have to be willing to take discounts. We're going to use the 85% trick on every player. If they don't accept it, they're gone. Pretty straightforward there. So, all in all, I think those are the rules that I'm willing to go with for now. There was the idea of having Eugene get one, in fairness, the comment said the draft pick, a third-round pick. There is one idea I kind of like, and that is owner meddling in the draft. So let me know what you think of this. I'll have a poll in the description for this, and anything else I've kind of talked about or any other ideas, let me know in the comments. It's still early enough that I'd be willing to change it after this episode still as well, as we really craft out what the rules are going to be for this. But what do you guys think when we go into a draft? Say we have picks 1 through 7, put 1 through 7 on a wheel, we randomize whatever it lands on. That is the pick that we let the AI select for us as a way of Eugene Melnyk saying, no, we're taking my guy here. Let me know what you think of that. I honestly really do like that idea, but we'll see what happens here after this first draft with me being in complete control. So with that, again, there were some other good suggestions as well. Like I said, I know the coaching staff and owner mode not being on. I don't want to restart this series with owner mode on as it is because I kind of like that we got screwed on the lottery. I think it adds a different dimension to this series and makes it that much more interesting. So I don't plan on restarting it now, as we'll get to player retirement here as well. And there were some good ones as far as kind of limiting what we can do when it comes to trading and whether or not there's cap retention and stuff like that. But I think the series is going to be difficult enough without saying like, oh, you're not allowed to have the AIs, or have yourself retain salary on a trade, which I never really do anyway. Even on those 1-year deals, like there were a lot of suggestions where it's like, yeah, we could say that, but half the time I don't do it anyway. Like, oh, you're not allowed to buy players out. I don't remember the last time I bought a player out in a series. It's been a long time, if ever. So, there's a lot of ways things could go. At the end of the day, we'll see how this episode plays out, how this draft plays out. Probably not going to do a pre-draft interview here because we pretty much know what we're dealing with. But we're going to make the best of this. We're going to see what happens. Of course, completely shafted on the lottery. The Rangers have the number 1 pick. They're willing to trade it. I don't really see how we'd have the assets to be able to trade up here, even with the 7th overall pick. Although, that said, if it's possible, I'd be pretty dumb to not. Chris Tierney. And they want Chris Tierney. Interesting. Because Tierney's value skyrocketed this season. He's also an RFA. Oh boy, do we do this. I didn't plan on trading up at all, but the Rangers, they may have just forced my hand because I want to hold on to that defense, but interesting. I mean, there's no limitations. It said I can't trade up to the number 1 overall pick, and Chris Tierney would be the guy to use here. If not, even Logan Brown. I can't believe the Rangers are interested in Bobby Ryan. I mean, I like Logan Brown. I like Chris Tierney. But, let me check the trade finder to see what the Rangers would want to pull this off. I'm intrigued. Because I know I could get that deal done. But I want to know what they're looking for where they could get this done. They just want Thomas Chabot, Brady Tkachuk, or Eric Brandstrom. I mean, I know Sens fans are really hoping for Lafreniere, and rightfully so. I'm obviously not willing to give up one of those 3 to pull that off. I'm not willing to do that. I know I could get this deal done otherwise. I am so tempted. God, I'm tempted. I'm just saying. Chris Tierney, he's a cheat code when he works alongside Brady Tkachuk within franchise. He really is. But if we were to use Logan Brown, I'm begging that they just make this draft pick. If we were to use Logan Brown in the 7th, how close would we be? Doesn't match the value. It would have to be Tierney. Say we use Tierney in the 7th for Lafreniere. Will this go through? We're doing it! Yeah. You know what? Screw it. Why not? Let me have fun where I can. We gave up value on the deal. I could have gotten more back, as you saw from their response. We have traded Chris Tierney and the 7th overall pick to the New York Rangers in exchange for the number 1 overall pick. Alexis Lafreniere will, in fact, be a member of the Ottawa Senators. We're doing it. It's been done. Deal with it. I didn't safety net it with draft picks or really nickel and dime them. They were dumb enough to want to move that pick in this draft. I don't know why. Montreal is smart. And plus, we got one up on Montreal. We took Lafreniere, so they couldn't. So screw them. Nobody else in this first round outside of the top 10, except for Arizona and Calgary, wanted to make a deal. Nobody else in the top 5 did. The Rangers are dumb, and I will gladly take advantage of it. I would have loved to have used Chris Tierney. I would have been stupid to not go ahead and select Alexis Lafreniere. So Lafreniere is going to be the face of this franchise. It has been done. I didn't plan on that. Oh, some people are going to be very happy about that. Some people are going to be very mad about that because I exploited the AI already. But you know what? This was a question raised. Is it a smart move to go after Lafreniere when there's a limit on how much money I can spend? We're going to find out. Because there is a chance Lafreniere leaves as a restricted free agent down the road. Time will tell. But for now, he's here. We have him for at least 3 seasons. With the cap and the percentage of the cap, with the 85% trick, we might be able to hold on to him for longer than that. Time will tell. But yeah, no, you know what? No regrets. No regrets on that particular trade. I am not upset about that at all. As I don't really think there's anybody else I really want to try to move here. There's no one that's really worth a ton. I don't really want to nickel and dime the AI from here. That was a completely unexpected trade. Like even Anisimov, yeah, I could flip him. I'm not going to do that. The Lafreniere move is going to be the one move where it's yeah, let's do this. But flipping Anisimov, Bobby Ryan immediately, I might have done that had I not just done what I did to get Lafreniere. So with that, I think we're going to move up to the San Jose pick, although there are other teams here. See, here's the deal. Could I trade up again? Sure. Is it a smart move based on the cap eventually? Probably not. I mean, really, looking into it, it's okay, I have a 3-year window to pull this off to try and get these deals done. But then, of course, the future compensation for these picks, or, for these players, if we lose Lafreniere, I mean, hey, at least if we lose him on a deal, at least if we lose him on an offer sheet, we get a half decent return here. But if we go to the Rangers, I'm intrigued now at what they want for that 7th overall pick. All right, nothing in particular. I think they're done dealing with us. Let's see who Montreal takes. They go for Quentin Byfield. No real surprise there. But Lafreniere is here. I do wonder what the Rangers. I do wonder. Because in terms of these, in terms of the value, I don't really think we have it. I'd have to use, I want to keep Colin White. He's a solid second liner, but we'd have to use Logan Brown or Bobby Ryan in a first. What is up with them wanting to acquire Bobby Ryan? I'm sorry, but the Rangers are throwing a complete monkey wrench into my plans here by wanting to do something incredibly dumb. Let's go pick by pick. I want to see who's still on the board when the Rangers are up. So Stützle goes to St. Louis. Vegas selects Lucas Raymond. The New Jersey Devils take Jamie Drysdale. And Detroit at 6 goes for Cole Perfetti. So for the Rangers right now at 7, who is on the board? You have computer-generated Daryl Wise, Lundell, Marco Rossi, Sanderson. I don't think I want to trade up for a medium 6. Granted, they're going to be a high overall medium 6, but I think I'd rather keep who we already have and end up with a medium top 6. Although Pilar here is computer generated, and there's a very good chance he's a medium elite. So I think Pilar might be the target, who is 20th on the CS rankings. And then, of course, there's Askarov, who we've used in far too many series as it is. So while he would be the answer in goal, I don't know if that's who I want to pick up, because we have used him in a lot of series. I don't really think I've really used Lafreniere in a series thus far. So I am interested in Pilar with the 20th pick. We'll sim a little bit here. The Rangers end up taking Wise. The Blue Jackets at 8 go for Lundell. Arizona at 9 take Marco Rossi, so a big win for the Coyotes. You have the Flames at 10 take Alex Holtz. Chicago at 11 goes for Mercer. Minnesota takes Jack Quinn. LA goes for Sanderson. Philadelphia takes Gunler. Boston at 15 goes for Zari. Buffalo takes Amarov. Okay, I'm going to risk this here. Florida goes for Goulet. The Islanders take Maverick Bourque, and the Tampa Bay Lightning at 19 take Jarvis. So Winnipeg, are you interested in making a move here where we slightly move up to try and take this computer-generated player, which might, again, come to haunt us here in terms of the cap space? It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. But let's see what we're dealing with here. Now, again, this will certainly raise the question as to whether or not I'm allowed to trade up more than once if we were to do this LA style. But you know what? Hey, let's have a little bit of fun before Melnyk ruins all of my fun, which is likely to happen. If I can use Mike Riley to get this done, I'd be dumb not to. There we go. So I could have added a little bit more. We use Mike Riley to trade up 2 spots. At least I sent both teams a player that they wanted. But Mike Riley, after a decent season here, has been dealt to Winnipeg. And we move up 2 spots in the draft. So, for the Rangers and now Winnipeg, we at least used a player that they wanted to trade up. And we're going to see just how good Richard Pilar happens to be as a computer-generated player. I am hopeful, especially with no weaknesses. The ETA is a little bit low, but that's okay. Pilar, oof. He's not bad. He's not bad. I was really hoping he was going to be a medium elite, though. Was it worth giving up Mike Riley to do that? I mean, maybe, maybe not. Probably, though. Slightly higher overall than who else was going to be available. I don't hate that, though. We will just sim to our next pick. 5th overall. Or 5th pick of the 2nd round. I wish it was 5th overall. So Askarov goes to Washington. Again, not as if they needed him. I don't want to use Askarov in another series. I really don't. It does get tiresome to use the same players over and over. As Amadio goes off the board, had a feeling he was going to be good as a computer-generated player. I'm hopeful there's still a computer-generated player on the board for us here. Doesn't look like it, though. So we have Jeremy Poirier, Justin Barron, Ryan O'Rourke, Lucas Cormier. So a lot of familiar names. The potentials are the interesting one, though. There is Ivan Zykov, who I'm very interested in as a computer-generated player. And I know people they prefer you to take real-world players to at least have the faces, but it's like when I know what these guys are, it does make sense to take computer-generated players given the circumstances. And, of course, our scouting department absolutely sucked to start things off. I just don't remember what we set Poirier to. I think Poirier fell. He should have been a first-rounder. I'm going to go for Jeremy Poirier here. I'm pretty sure he's a medium top 4. We're going to take him from the St. John Sea Dogs. There we go. So a lower overall for Poirier, but still a decent potential. And hopefully he can develop. So, Barron's 10 overall points better at this point, but he has that weaker potential. We have the next pick in the aftermath. I almost simmed past it. That could have been the Melnyk pick. But from there, it seems pretty obvious to me we should take one of the Zykovs or Terrell Stock. I don't know a ton about Stock. 2-year ETA. Pekka Kukkonen, 3-year ETA. Ivan Zykov, not looking that good. And there was the other Zykov. I'm actually not really impressed with any of these guys. Terrell Stock might be decent. I'm going to guess he's a power forward. He has good foot speed, but low acceleration and quickness. Figure that one out. O'Rourke's going to be decent. Cormier is going to be decent. I could take Ozzy Wiesblatt or the Weissblatt. But what about Orca? And Theo Roche there as well. I know there are some London Knight fans who are dying to have me take Antonio here. Justin Sordiff, also an option. This is a bit of a tough one. A bit of a tough call. There wasn't a computer-generated player here like I was hoping, where I'm like, yep, that's the guy. Topi Niemelä is real. Is this David Backes? Donovan Backes. B's and C's. Braithwaite has that confirmed potential. Is there anyone? Hello, Henrik Hornqvist. 6'5", 3-year ETA. I don't hate that. He's a little bit off the board. Angelolo. Do we take Angelo? Oh, if that potential wasn't confirmed, I'd totally go for Angelolo. Phenomenal name. Quinn Von Fierson. 3-year ETA, but a confirmed low 4. Connor McClellan. Now, the first year draft, I mean, as always, there's going to be a bit more depth as opposed to anything else. So I'm thinking, I mean, Hornqvist is pretty far off the board, but it's either him or Stock. I'm gonna go for Terrell Stock out of Orabo. We'll see how good you are. That was a very good decision. 67 overall, medium top 6. Very happy with that. We do have another second round pick here towards the end. Kukkonen would have been a pretty good pick as well. As again, useful players here in the second round. Very happy with who we ended up with. And that leaves us. Now, Vero is real. I don't obviously trust that. I wish. Helge Grans is real. Simon Teval is real. Mika Vico. Computer generated is interesting. And then there's Forsstrom. Also interesting. And there was Donovan Backus as well. Braithwaite is confirmed to not be all that good. So looking at the computer-generated players here, as per usual, I mean, Vico has the shooting and the puck skills, good senses. Forsstrom, no real way to tell. Then there was Hornqvist as well. I think right now it's Hornqvist or Vico. Hornqvist confirmed 3-year ETA. Vico, we don't know for sure. Already a leader, apparently. As is Hornqvist, a good meshing of styles. We're going to go for Mika Vico, because I love his name. The Finnish center is the pick. 65, medium top 9. I don't know if he is real or not, actually. And that brings us to the early stages of the third round. Braithwaite back as Forsstrom at a medium 4 would have been a pretty good pick. Just to look back through here. I mean, again, familiar names for those who follow along with the upcoming draft. So we'll see now, Atacalio or Hornqvist. I liked Henrik Hornqvist. We're going to go for him here. 6'5" Swede. Ugh, low top 6. You don't love to see that. You don't love to see that. We'll see who we missed out on. Anytime you see low top 6 forward or low top 4 defenseman, it's just a sucker punch to the gut. It's tough to not feel rough after seeing that. All right, so we didn't miss out on anybody that bad, though. So who knows? Maybe that low top 6 guy will be the one who actually develops for us. Sergei Chubarov right now is probably my favorite to pick. As we'll see who else we have here. I'm going to continue to look for computer-generated players because they give us the best opportunity to find a steal. Peyton Mount, DeFord, Nick Wong, Isaac Phillips. I don't know why Nick Wong's showing up as a bit of a bust. Hello, Kenny Fair. Okay. No weaknesses. That potential might be close to confirmed. I mean, no doubt we go for the American Kenny Fair. No doubt. Let's see how good he is. Kenny? Another 65 low top 6. It's not too bad, I guess, but could certainly be better. See who else we have here. Looking for computer-generated players. Help me out a bit. Do sets real here. You know what? Let's just sort by potential now at this stage. So Terry's certainly not that. Grimard's not that. Ashton Shaw might, let's say he might be worth it. Confirmed medium elite, just beyond the 200s. So someone that we could look at taking here, Nico Dawes. There's also Justin Stepan. A little bit dangerous with how low he's projected to go on the CS. And then there's Bonvie as well. Again, anybody under a 200, you always got to be careful. As, if they're not confirmed, even if they are confirmed, it can switch and turn out like, no, he's actually not that good. But we're at the stage where I think it's worth taking the risk. And we are going to go for John Bonvie. John Bonjovi John Bonvi is going to be the pick. Let's hope he's actually as good as advertised. He was a medium 6. Sweet. And we do still have another pick after this, so we have the first pick of the 6th round, and we are going to go for Ashton Shaw, the gem of a goalie with no strengths, but hey, the trade value is going to be pretty nice. 48 overall. Again, no limitations on who I can, acquire, or, if I can abuse the draft board here. Let me know if you want more of a Los Angeles style where it's like, no, I'm not allowed to abuse the board like this. Let me know, but at the end of the day, am I going to be able to truly reap the rewards of this? Probably not with the limitations. Again, just $5 million over the cap floor. That's going to be very, very tough to work with. I can promise you that. Let's see who else we have here. So Hagelin's computer generated. Could be interesting. Hillen's computer generated. Julian Jacobs. Bednar actually does have a good overall, but that potential's confirmed. I'm actually going to take you on Bednar. Another goaltender isn't the worst thing in the world to have. He is a 65, and that'll do it for this particular draft for us. So, yeah, this took an interesting spin. I never expected the New York Rangers. I meant to take a look at how the rest of the draft played out there. Sorry. I never expected the New York Rangers to be willing to, trade the Alexis Lafreniere pick. They were, and as a result, we make that deal happen. So I certainly don't hate it. However, we do lose, a solid center option in Tierney. And now looking ahead, we're going to be losing Craig Anderson as a goaltender here, which really sucks. But Craig Anderson is going to look to go elsewhere. I don't know if we're going to keep Joey Decord or not. Time will tell there. Defensively, Ron Hainsey's leaving. Mark Borowiecki wants to re-sign. I'm going to guess people are on board with keeping him. Yaros will probably keep. Andreas Englund will probably be dropped. Hubert Labrie is going to be dropped. There's going to be a decent amount of turnover with this roster. We're probably going to hold on to Connor Brown. But Jordan Schwartz, there was a comment that said we stand Jordan Schwartz. Well, I hate to tell you, he's gone. Might bring back Scott Sabourin for the hell of it. Duclair, Balsers, Paul, they all want to re-sign. Klimchuk, wants to re-sign, but I don't really care. All in all, this will be remembered for the Lafreniere move-up, which I am quite happy about. How you guys feel about it, though, time will tell. But like I said, at least for the moment, I'm pretty happy with where we are right now. Again, I hate to lose Tierney, but we were going to have to re-sign him anyway. We use him to get Lafreniere. And again, confirming that, what the cap floor, how much we can spend over it, which is $5 million, the whole max contract thing. If someone doesn't want to stay, they leave. 85% trick's going to be big. But let me know what you think as far as, again, how do you feel about that? Because a series without trade limitations and draft limitations, that's the type of draft that we have. Are you cool with that, knowing that eventually Lafreniere is going to be asking for too much money, that he's probably going to be out of town unless I get incredibly lucky with negotiations, which then raises the question over negotiations. In the LA series, I have it so I can only move the years wanted up by 1 or down by 1. But if I don't have a limitation on that, yeah, I'm going to offer Lafreniere $8 million at 85% on his first contract and hope that he accepts that. And then, bam, we have Lafreniere for the entire series, basically. There's a lot of little things to work out here, knowing that, okay, if we don't have a rule on this, it gives me a little bit of maneuverability here to work within the confines of Eugene's rules, which is kind of what you want. I don't know, do you want to back me into a corner where it's like, well, shit, there's not much I can do to try and work this out here? Let me know what you think. But you've kind of gotten a look now at what a draft looks like without any limitations. Next episode, we go through the rest of the offseason and set up this team for our first real season. And, being in control of this team, it's always a big move like that, though, that has me nervous to be like, what are you guys going to think? So I can't wait to find out. Oh, boy. I thank you, as always, for watching, for supporting the channel and for supporting this new series. You know the deal. Check out everything in the description if you haven't already done so. And, of course, a shout-out to my patrons on Patreon. I love you all. I will see you in the next one when the Lafreniere era begins. I did not think we'd be saying that.